If you are struggling with hair fall, a receding hairline, or even patchy hair loss, don't lose hope. In many cases, these conditions can improve if the underlying cause is addressed and your scalp receives the right care. And if you are someone dealing with premature gray or white hair, this remedy may also help support your hair's natural pigmentation over time. Remember, if the hair follicles are still capable of producing melanin, supporting scalp health and reducing the oxidative stress may help maintain or improve the natural hair color. But if the follicles have permanently stopped producing the pigment due to age or genetics, no home remedy can guarantee reversing that. Today, I'm going to show you one of my favorite herbal black hair toners. You can use it as a daily scalp toner, or you can even mix it with the henna to naturally enhance your hair color without relying on the chemical hair dyes. The best part is that this same toner is designed not only to help your hair appear darker over time, but also to support healthier, stronger, shinier, and longer hair. So let's start making it. First, take a clean steel pan and add 2 cups of drinking quality water. Always use clean, safe water because whatever minerals or impurities are present in the water will also become part of your final toner. Now, many of you ask me whether you can use an iron pen instead of a steel pen. The answer is yes, you can. In fact, if your goal is to achieve a naturally darker toner, an iron pen can be a good choice. Iron reacts slightly with the plant compounds such as tannins that we'll be adding later in the recipe, which produces a deeper, darker liquid. This is actually one of the traditional methods that has been used for generations. However, if your iron pen is rusty, chipped, or not food safe, then please avoid using it. In that case, a stainless steel pan is the safest and most reliable option. Now, let's add our first and probably one of the most important ingredients, which is amla, also known as Indian gooseberry. If you're using fresh amla, grate it first and then add about 3 tablespoons of it. If you're using dried amla pieces, use around 3 tablespoons of that. And if you have only amla powder, use about 1.5 tablespoons. Now you might be wondering which one is actually the best. Personally, I always prefer the fresh amla whenever it's available, of course, because it naturally contains more moisture and many of its beneficial plant compounds are less affected by drying and processing. Dried amla comes next. It's still an excellent option because most of its beneficial compounds are retained during drying and it stores well for months. Amla powder is the most convenient option, but because it's finely ground, it has the largest surface area exposed to air, light, and moisture during the storage. Over time, this may reduce some of its freshness compared to the whole dried pieces. That doesn't mean it's ineffective, it simply means fresh or whole dried amla is generally preferred whenever possible. Another question I get all the time is, can I just put whole amla into the water instead of grating it? Technically, yes, but I wouldn't recommend it. Here's why. Most of the beneficial compounds inside amla are locked within the fruit cells. When you grate it, you break open thousands of those tiny plant cells, allowing much more of the beneficial compounds to come into the direct contact with the hot water. Thinking of it like making a tea. If you drop the whole tea bag into the water, it infuses well because the leaves are already broken into the small pieces. Imagine trying to make tea using one large uncut leaf. It would take much longer for the water to extract everything. The same principle applies here. Smaller pieces provide a much larger surface area, allowing better extraction of the natural compounds into your toner. Now, gently stir everything together. At this stage, do not rush the process. Many people think herbal remedies work simply because you throw all the ingredients into a pot, but extraction actually takes time. As the water heats, it slowly begins drawing out the natural compounds from the amla into the liquid. You will also notice the color of the water gradually changing. That's exactly what we want because it tells us those plant compounds are beginning to infuse into the toner. Just give it another gentle stir every minute or so to make sure all the grated amla remains submerged in the water instead of floating on top. And while this is gently simmering, here's something interesting. Healthy hair doesn't begin at the ends, it begins at the scalp. The healthier the environment around your hair follicles, the better your hair is able to grow. That's why almost every ingredient we are adding today isn't just chosen for hair color, it's also selected to support the overall scalp health because stronger roots are the foundation for the stronger hair. Now let's this continue cooking for another few minutes. And once the amla has infused nicely into the water, we'll move on to our next ingredient, which is the black tea leaves, also known as chai patti. Now, don't just add 1 teaspoon because that's simply not enough for this recipe. We are going to add around 2 teaspoons or 1 tablespoon of loose black tea leaves. Yes, it may seem like a lot, but there's a reason behind it. Black tea is naturally rich in compounds called tannins. These tannins are what give black tea its deep brown color. When combined with the other herbal ingredients in this toner, they help create a much richer, darker infusion, which is exactly what we want if you are aiming for a naturally darker looking hair over time. Another interesting thing is that black tea also contains a small amount of caffeine. Now, does caffeine magically regrow hair overnight? No. But some laboratory studies have suggested that caffeine may help support the hair follicles under certain conditions. Most of that evidence comes from lab based research rather than strong clinical trials in people, so I don't want to overpromise. That's why I look at black tea as one supportive ingredient rather than a miracle ingredient. And honestly, that's how herbal remedies work. It's usually not one single ingredient doing all the work, it's the combination of several ingredients working together. Now, stir everything well. You will notice that within a minute or two, the color starts becoming much darker. That's completely normal. Those tea pigments are slowly being released into the water. Now, many of you also ask me, can people with low porosity hair use this? Absolutely. What about high porosity hair? Yes, they can use it too. The difference isn't whether you can use the toner, the difference is how your hair responds to it. If you have low porosity hair, your hair cuticles are naturally tighter. That means products usually sit on the surface longer before penetrating. So when you are spraying this toner onto your scalp or hair, don't expect instant dramatic results. Consistency is much more important than quantity. If you have high porosity hair, your hair tends to absorb moisture much faster. The downside is that it can also lose that moisture more quickly. So after applying this toner, it's always a good idea to seal the moisture with a lightweight hair oil if your hair feels dry. So yes, whether your hair is low porosity, medium porosity, high porosity, curly, straight, wavy, chemically treated or natural, this toner can still be used. You simply adjust the rest of your hair care routine according to your own hair type. Now let this simmer for another 2 to 3 minutes. As it continues cooking, you will notice the aroma changing. That rich herbal smell means that the ingredients are continuing to infuse into the water. Now it's time to add another beautiful ingredient. We are going to use dried hibiscus flowers. I'm adding 3 dried hibiscus flowers. If you have fresh hibiscus flowers available, you can absolutely use those as well. But before adding them, don't just throw them in whole. Tear them into smaller pieces with your hands. The pieces don't have to be perfect. Just tear them randomly. Now, why I'm doing this instead of adding the whole flower? Because just like we discussed with the grated amla, smaller pieces expose much more surface area. When more of the flour comes into the direct contact with the hot water, the beneficial plant compounds are extracted much more efficiently. If you drop the flour in whole, much of the inner part stays folded together, slowing down the extraction process. So this simple step actually helps you make a stronger toner without adding any extra ingredients. Now, gently stir everything again. You will immediately notice the color becoming even richer. Hibiscus is one of my favorite herbs for the hair care because it has been traditionally used for generations to support the healthy looking hair. It's naturally rich in plant compounds called polyphenols and antioxidants. These help protect the hair and scalp from oxidative stress, which is one of the many factors associated with the hair aging over time. Many people also love hibiscus because it can leave the hair looking softer, shinier, and smoother after the regular use. And if your hair tends to feel dry or rough, hibiscus often gives the toner a much more conditioning feel compared with using the black tea alone. Again, I don't want to claim that hibiscus alone can completely reverse the hair loss or permanently restore gray hair. That wouldn't be scientifically accurate. But when it's used consistently as part of an overall healthy hair care routine, it can be a wonderful supportive ingredient. Now I want to ask you something. Out of these three ingredients we have added so far, amla, black tea, and hibiscus, which one you have already tried for your hair before? Or maybe you have tried all three? Comment below and let me know your experience, please. I genuinely love reading your comments because many of you share amazing tips and that can help other viewers too. Now, give everything another now, give everything another gentle stir. At this point, your kitchen probably smells like a herbal tea shop, and honestly, that's exactly how you know you're making a fresh herbal preparation instead of using artificial fragrances or synthetic coloring agents. We will let this simmer for another few minutes so these ingredients can continue releasing all their goodness into the water. Now, our toner has developed a beautiful deep color. The amla, black tea, and hibiscus have the amla, black tea, and hibiscus have all had enough time to infuse into the water, so it's time for the next ingredient, fenugreek seeds, also known as methi dana. I'm adding around 1 tablespoon of fenugreek seeds in it. Now, don't grind them, don't soak them overnight. Just add them directly to the simmering mixture. As soon as they go into the water, give everything a gentle stir so all the seeds are fully submerged. Now, why are we adding fenugreek? Fenugreek has been used in traditional hair care for centuries, and one reason people love it is because it's naturally rich in mucilage, which is a gel-like substance that forms when the seeds are heated or soaked. That natural gel gives the toner a slightly smoother texture, making it feel much more conditioning when applied to the hair. Many people notice that their hair feels softer, easier to detangle, and less rough after using the fenugreek-based preparations regularly. Fenugreeks also contain plant compounds, proteins, and antioxidants that help support a healthy scalp environment. While it's not a miracle cure for the hair loss, maintaining a healthier scalp is an important part of supporting the healthy hair growth. Now, here's something that many people do not realize. Hair growth doesn't happen because of one magical ingredient. Healthy hair is the result of many things working together. Your scalp health, your nutrition, your hormones, your genetics, your overall health, and your daily hair care habits too. Think of this toner as one supportive step in that journey, not the only step. That's why I always encourage you to be consistent rather than expecting overnight results. Herbal remedies reward patience. Now let this continue simmering on the low to medium heat for another 8 to 10 minutes. Don't increase the flame thinking it will work faster. A gentle simmer allows the ingredients to release their beneficial compounds gradually. If the heat is too high, the water evaporates quickly and you may end up with much less toner than you need. While this is simmering, let me answer another question that I receive almost every day. Can men use this? Absolutely. Hair follicles don't know whether you're a man or a woman. If you're dealing with premature graying, thinning hair, or simply want to improve the overall health of your scalp, this toner can be used by both men and women. Another common question, can I use it on my beard? Yes, you can. If you have premature gray beard hair or simply want to condition your beard naturally, you can spray a small amount onto the beard as well. Just remember to do a patch test first, especially if you have sensitive skin, because herbal ingredients can occasionally cause irritation in some people. And if you have a medical condition affecting the scalp or active skin disease, it's always best to check with your dermatologist before trying any new topical product. Now, here's another important point. People often ask me, can I make a huge batch and store it for the months? Because this recipe doesn't contain commercial preservatives, it won't stay fresh at room temperature for long. Once it has cooled, keep it in a clean spray bottle and store it in the refrigerator. Ideally, use it within about 1 week for the best freshness. If it develops an unusual smell, changes color significantly, or shows any signs of spoilage, discard it please and prepare a fresh batch. Fresh herbal preparations are generally more reliable than keeping the same batch for several weeks. If you are enjoying learning the science behind these remedies and you would like more personalized guidance for your own hair concerns, you can join my membership using the link below. Inside the membership, I share exclusive educational videos, explain different hair conditions in details, and answer many of the questions that simply can't fit into one YouTube video. Now, by this stage, you will notice that the liquid has become darker and slightly richer in consistency. That's exactly what we are aiming for. Go ahead and turn off the heat. Now, don't wait until it's completely cold. We are going to strain it while it's still hot. The reason is simple. When the liquid is warm, it flows much more easily through the strainer, allowing you to extract more of the herbal infusion. If you wait until it cools completely, the natural gel released from the fenugreek becomes thicker, making the mixture more difficult to strain later and leaving more liquid trapped inside the herbs. So place a fine mash strainer over a clean bowl or measuring jug and slowly pour the mixture through. You can gently press the herb with the back of the spoon to release the remaining liquids if you like, but don't squeeze them too aggressively, as that may force tiny particles through the strainer. Look at that beautiful deep brown color. That's exactly what we wanted. Now, simply leave the toner on your kitchen counter until it reaches the room temperature. Please don't pour hot liquid directly into the plastic spray bottle. The heat can wrap some plastics and may shorten the life of your bottle. Allow it to cool naturally first, and once it's completely cool, we are ready for the most exciting part: how to use this toner every day and how to mix it with the henna herbal hair coloring treatment without using artificial chemical hair dyes. So let's move on to that. Now our toner has completely cooled down. The first thing you can do is to pour into a clean spray bottle. This is the easiest way to use it as a part of your regular hair care routine. Now, how exactly should you apply it? Start by spraying it directly onto your scalp. Part your hair into the sections so the toner reaches the skin instead of just sitting on the hair strands. Once you have covered the scalp, lightly spray the remaining toner over the length of your hair as well. Then spend 1 to 2 minutes gently massaging your scalp with your fingertips. The massage itself doesn't magically grow hair, but it can help spread the toner evenly across the scalp and feels relaxing for many people. Leave the toner on. There is no need to rinse it out. Allow your hair to air dry naturally, or if you are in a hurry, you can use a cool or low heat setting on your hair dryer too. For best results, use this toner consistently 3 to 5 times a week or even daily if it suits your scalp. Remember, consistency matters much more than applying a large amount once in a while. Now, here's another amazing way to use this toner. Instead of mixing plain water into your henna, use this herbal toner. Take about 2 to 3 tablespoons of pure henna powder in a clean bowl. Now slowly add enough of the toner to make a smooth yogurt-like paste. Not too runny, not too thick. You want a consistency that is easy to spread through your hair. Once you have mixed it well, cover the bowl and leave it overnight for about 8 to 12 hours. Now many people ask, why do we leave henna overnight? The reason is that henna contains a natural coloring molecule called lawson. When henna is mixed with the liquid and allowed to reset, more of this dye is gradually released from the plant material. This process is often called as dye release. If you apply freshly mixed henna immediately, it may not stain the hair as effectively as the properly rested mixture. So giving it enough time can improve the coloring performance. The next day, the paste should look darker and smoother. Now apply it evenly from the roots to the ends of your hair. If your main concern is grey roots, make sure that those areas are fully covered first before applying to the rest of the hair. Once all your hair is covered, loosely wrap it with a shower cap or plastic wrap to help keep the paste moist. Leave it on for about 2 to 3 hours, then rinse thoroughly with the plain water until the paste is completely removed. Many people notice that immediately after rinsing, the color looks slightly orange or copper. Don't panic. That's completely normal with pure henna. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, the color naturally oxidizes and becomes deeper and richer. Now, I also want to set realistic expectations. This herbal toner and henna mixture contains no ammonia, no peroxides, no artificial dyes, and no harsh bleaching chemicals. That's one of the biggest reasons many people prefer it. However, because it's a natural preparation, the results are usually gradual rather than instant. If you are expecting every white hair to become jet black after a single application, that's unfortunately not how pure henna works. Natural herbs work different from the chemical hair dyes. With regular use, many people notice healthier looking hair, improved shine, and a richer natural tone. But the exact color varies depending on your starting hair color, the percentage of gray hair, and your individual hair type. And please remember one more thing. If you have a history of allergies to henna or herbal ingredients, always perform a patch test at least 24 to 48 hours before applying the mixture to your entire scalp. It is a simple step that can help prevent unwanted reactions. Now, if you're someone who says, Doctor, I don't want gradual color, I want a proper jet black result from the very first application, then don't worry. In that case, I recommend using the henna and indigo two-step process, and I have explained that entire method in this video right here. And once you have colored your hair, You can maintain the shade for longer by washing it with my herbal black hair shampoo, which I have shown in this video right here.